Are you looking for a great deal on a Canon EOS R or RP? Or are you here because of a recent report of Nikon's dismal financial position? It's definitely not looking good for the pioneering camera brand. This and more after the intro. Before getting into today's big story, I've got news for those of you looking to get a deal on the Canon EOS R and RP. Canon's gone ahead and dropped the price on the Canon EOS R to $15.99. You can now get the Canon EOS RP for $8.99. And if you team it up with a kit lens at 24-105, you can get the RP for $9.99. Now these prices are expected to be here until Black Friday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they stick around until Boxing Day, or for those of you that aren't familiar with Boxing Day, essentially Christmas. Now if you're interested in buying any of these cameras, consider using the links down below, my B&H link, and I get a small portion. I think it's around 2%. All right, enough of the good news. Earlier this year, I said that we'd see one or more mergers and acquisitions in 2020, but this was prior to the pressures brought on by COVID. Many feared that Canon and Nikon, once camera greats, were failing to live up to competition from companies like Sony. But Canon was still performing well with 43% market share, though sales were down sharply. Nikon was a distant second place, with Sony about to take that place for themselves. Then we got word that GIT was purchasing Olympus's camera division. Earlier this year, when rumors of the Canon R5 came out, I believe it was late January, there was utter disbelief. There was no way that Canon would be releasing a successor to the 5D Mark IV that could do 4K video, sharp 4K video up to 120 frames per second, let alone 8K video, be the first Canon camera to have IBIS, and do all this without any crop and with autofocus in all modes. It was laughable, and I heard it all. I was taken to task for even covering the information. A company that had previously given us motion JPEG could deliver us uncropped 8K, 4K 120 with IBIS in just 3 short years? Then 3 weeks later, Canon issued a development announcement. It was true. The market was stunned, but didn't believe it. We've been lied before, and while some of the luster came off when the overheat modes became apparent, one thing was evident. One very important thing. Sales were through the roof. The camera was in short supply since its release at the end of July. And this wasn't purely a result of production issues. It was in high demand. It was selling so well that Canon revised their 2020 sales figures up by an additional 500,000 units. And that's based on around 5.5 to 6 million units that they had already projected. But where's Nikon? There are rumors of a Z8 or Z9. It was supposed to compete well with the Canon R5, but the dates of its release keep getting pushed. Is this a mirrorless version of the D6, their flagship camera? There's very little noise. Now the Z6 and Z7, while great cameras, are failing to excite the market, and that's the problem here. They need to excite the market, and the Z5 is seen as too little, too late, and costing a bit too much. Nikon needs a mirrorless camera to excite like the Canon R5. Nikon and Canon were similar companies. They were the number 1 and 2 of camera companies for decades. The following strategy that they used in the past is just not going to work anymore. Now, they were both late to enter the mirrorless market, focusing on the DSLRs, while companies like Sony had long given up on it. The Canon EOS R failed to excite the market when it came out in 2018, and sales were tepid. It was largely panned until bugs were fixed by firmware 1.4. The Z6 and Z7 are decent cameras, but they failed to capture much excitement. The problem for Nikon and Canon was that Sony kept releasing exciting cameras and kept pushing the boundaries up until around 2018. In fact, Sony was so confident in their lead that they sat on the a7S III for 2 years before releasing it in the summer of 2020. Canon's R5 drove anticipation and market excitement for 6 long months. It drove existing customers to upgrade from the 5D, the 6D, the 7D, and even cameras like the 70D. Canon even brought back customers that left for Panasonic and Sony. But again, where's Nikon? Well, Tokyo Kenza reports that Nikon is in dire straits. The camera business is in free fall. The strategic turnaround started way back in 2016. Well, it's been an epic failure. They report that the video camera business is expected to drop by 40% in the next earnings report. Nikon hasn't had a successful product launch in years. Successful in terms of getting enough units sold. The Nikon D6 failed to sell well. The Z6 and Z7 got a minor refresh, but the announcement is failing to garner much attention. Instead, the market looks to stories like the Sony A9 Mark III, the Canon R1, or even the next Canon firmware. Nikon stated their turnaround in 2016, the same time that Canon entered in their fifth strategic plan. Nikon failed to right the ship before the global economic slump. Nikon laid off 700 staff in May and are projected to drop its international staff levels by an additional 20%. Nikon may well be working on a mirrorless version of the D6 and the Z8 or Z9, but it's also very likely that they're secretly working on a merger and acquisition plan. They're running on empty. 2021 is make or die for Nikon. I can't see them continuing the same failed strategy if they want to survive. But I hate to leave on such a terrible disappointment, so let me thank you and give you a glimpse into something that I bought for the channel. I want to say thank you very much for those of you that have bought Canon R5s, R6s, Sony A7S IIIs, and other camera bodies and equipment through my affiliate links. To date, I have actually brought in around $1,300 from B&H alone and several $100s more on Amazon. And because of your patronage, because of your support for me, I get 2% on this, and by clicking on my affiliate links, you don't pay any extra, which is a win-win for both of us. So what I've decided to do, as some sales have come on this week, is I've gone and bought a bunch of camera equipment for my channel. Last, was it Sunday or Saturday, I put out a poll asking you what you think I should get. Should I get the 800mm? That was one option. Should I get the RF 50mm? Should I get the 2x extender? Should I get all of them, or should I just get the 50mm and the 800mm? Well, I got a lot of response, and you got it right. I am picking one of those options. Now, I'm not going to tell you which one yet because they haven't shipped yet, and I'm expecting them to ship soon. I've been told, because unfortunately right now Toronto has gone back to a lockdown situation, and they've cautioned me that while I should be getting them by the end of this week, they're not sure exactly when they'll get picked up. So I'm really looking forward to that. But rest assured, the lenses that I purchase will play a huge part in the role of this channel and help me to get outside a bit more and explore the trail. So while things are unfortunately going into a second wave and things are looking at they're shutting down again, that doesn't mean I can't get out and explore the wilderness. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about where I live. While I'm in a semi-urban area, there's also a lot of trails. I'm very close to the Great White North, the wilderness that this area is known for. So I will be getting out there and trying these out. But I kind of want to let the cat out of the bag, but I don't want to tell you quite what I've gotten yet. So do stay tuned for that. So that's really exciting. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe for your chance to win the Syncolab S6E and M3 shotgun microphones. I'll be awarding these two prizes to one lucky viewer once the channel reaches 20,000 subscribers. And then I'll be offering up a different, more expensive prize every 10,000 or so subscribers. After that, until the channel reaches 100,000 subscribers, at which point I'll award a brand new Canon EOS R5 full-frame mirrorless camera to one lucky viewer. And on that bombshell, thanks so much for watching The Ordinary Filmmaker. We'll see you again soon.